Oh, great job on your podcast this week, Casey. It was so good. You know,
Man, I didn't know Kermit the Frog was our bud.
Kermit the Frog. Okay. So,
Kermit voice.
but anyway, it was a mix between, I don't know who that was actually.
Welcome back to the BaptiCatholic Show.
Where we're sharing the beauty of Catholicism with
Baptist fervor.
Baptist fervor. You did the hands.
Did the hands.
My friends, it has been a minute.
It's been so many minutes. What did we see last night?
2023, October
of 23.
of 23.
Wow, that's a long time.
It's a very long time.
Yeah. I think
out of the studio, as it were.
Yeah. I think neither of us, like, when we think about this podcast and stuff, I don't think either of us, like, were what's that saying? Hanging up the reins?
Right. And we always had
Is that the
intentions. Yeah.
Okay. I don't think we were ever, like, done. We were, like, done. It was just, like,
Life.
we need to get back to that. And it just, life and, the way it goes.
Things happen. And so we thought for this episode, we kind of do a reintroduction to ourselves, reintroduction to the podcast. And towards the end of this episode, I want you to make sure you hang around because we want to share with you first some statistics that blew our mind about the BaptiCatholic show while we were away, and just a special note to our followers, those of you who have said, "Hey, when are you coming back? You going to do that thing again?" And we're like, "Yeah, we're going to," and then not. So stick around to the end, and we'll do that. But we divided this podcast into kind of three parts, and what I thought we would start by doing, Aaron, is talk about, what this podcast was originally started back in 2019, if you can believe that, pre-pandemic. The world is marked by pre and post-pandemic.
Right.
So what were we originally out to do?
Yeah.
Besides become rich and famous. Father Mike Schmitz, I'm talking to you.
So we started the podcast originally under the moniker Catholic on Purpose because we thought that was like just being intentional with your faith, right? And then turns out that was copywritten.
So we had a gentleman actually reach out to us. Very nice. And if you listen to this podcast, thanks for reaching out. He's like, "Hey, I'm actually going to publish some books under this title or something, and I have the copyright, but you can keep going." But we're like, "Oh, this is probably a good time to pivot to something that we had already had," which I had kind of written under as the BaptiCatholic and done some little videos before. So we made that pivot.
Yeah. And that really, it just felt right. And I couldn't even tell you when we did change that. Maybe like 6 months to a year in, something
maybe
like that.
Yeah.
And so we really just, both of us were converts. We had a deep love for the faith and we wanted to share that. And it felt like a podcast was a great platform to do that.
When we started out, so this may look like a huge upgrade. Okay, not really. But it really is, because we started out at a tiny, we pulled a side table, I believe it was, into our bedroom and put this cheap podcast equipment that we bought offline onto it. We had like the mechanical arm and all this stuff, and it was clamped onto this tiny little side table. And I would sit on one side of the side table, you'd sit on the other side of the side table. And of course, there was no video. We weren't that techie yet. So we just did the sound, uploaded it. I think it's now Spotify for podcasters. Before, I forget what the name of it was. Anchor. Yeah, Anchor got bought by Spotify. So we were Anchor folks. So if you're getting the podcasting game, we've been around a minute, so just watch out.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, it was, and we did that in our bedroom. We just, through the pandemic, and we loved it. We loved it so much. And I think it gave us so much, joy and consistency through the pandemic too.
Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah.
Cause as the rest of the world, we were at home a lot through that.
We would do it like during nap time or at bedtime. And of course our kids were even littler. So it was like, sometimes you could hear squealing in the background a little bit. And I bet if you go back to some of those, you might hear some in the background, but that's all all to say we are real people without money for this that are really trying to make it happen, because we love the Lord Jesus, and we're so thankful that he brought us into full communion with his Catholic Church.
Right.
And there's so many people in our community and abroad that have yet to hear the good news or the fullness of the good news in the Catholic Church. That's really where our heart is to share it, through our stories, our little stories that God used and it continues to use to help people come into the church.
Yeah.
And in fact, the day that we're recording this, we just got to witness 22 people come into full communion in the church at our cathedral.
At our parish, yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, it was so amazing. And like over and over again, I heard people remarking, there's so many people. There's so many people. It was like so many people that I was sponsoring. Oh, sorry. I was sponsoring someone, and we were up on the altar, and it's Christmas season too. So we've got the nativity there. So that takes up a little bit of space, but even still, I mean, people packed around the entire altar. And just like, what a witness that is. Like there happened to be somebody that I actually work with that I know is like just coming back to faith. And she's raised Catholic, and she happened to be in the audience during the mass. And I just thought, what a witness to her.
Right.
To see people who do take their faith seriously and who choose this faith, because like she's getting married. Her fiance is not Catholic. And that's just been like kind of not a point of contention or anything, but just like a subject for them. So just the witness that people do choose this, and like not only do some people, but like a lot of people choose this. Yeah. Like this is kind of crazy, and these are people that are actively pursuing. It's not like somebody's like dragging them along. And I was like really excited too, because if you're a convert, or maybe if you're not, you've just kind of make an assumption. Like people ask me all the time when I say, oh yeah, I wasn't raised Catholic, they're like, oh, so your husband was.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think any of those people this morning were like people that their spouse or fiance and things were already Catholic.
Right.
I think it was like there were couples, but it was like the couples converting together, which is what we actually did. And I thought that was just so awesome.
Yeah, it was, and it's so great to see people who, in my job, I work for the church, and being able to like have lunches and coffees with some of these people, several months ago, who were kind of like, I'm interested, but I'm not sure. And then fast forward, and here we are, and be able to see that. And one couple that we'd love to have on the podcast at some point and share their story, so I won't give it away too much. But it's one of the most impactful stories that I have seen, period, in person or reading it online or watching it, just from someone who was semi-open but kind of resistant to the thought of Catholicism, to within week to 2 weeks, her life was turned around.
Yeah.
She started to see the truth of Catholicism, and now, it just loves the church and came in today. And so anyway, during this off season, there's just been some wonderful blessings and things.
Yeah.
Things have kind of coalesced to this point to where, though, we're ready to get restarted.
Right.
So moving from there, kind of talking about what the podcast is now.
Yeah. So, well, obviously, like we're not at a tiny table in our bedroom.
We're not.
We are in our garage. So I don't know if that's an upgrade.
We shouldn't have given it away. We should have said, we have an exclusive property off-site.
We are in our studio.
Which, listen, behind the scenes, maybe we'll take you sometime. Maybe, we blow up, we'll be like, check out our crib.
Lawnmower.
Literally to my right, there's my lawnmower.
Yeah.
And back there's a deep freeze. And so this is like a normal family's garage that we have made one corner into a podcast studio.
Yeah, because like most families, we don't actually use our garage for a car.
No, it's a one-car garage. I mean, first world problem, right? I don't want to move my car in and out of that. So, but this works because one of the things I think that really hindered us from podcasting in the past and being consistent was we'd have to unwrap and unpack all the equipment and set it up every single time we wanted to podcast. Well, when you've got a busy life and you've got a lot of irons in the fire, and our kids are getting older, so they're getting involved in more activities than they did when we started podcasting. it becomes a point where, it rolls around time late at night to do it. And you're like, don't have the energy to unravel all that stuff and to get it set up, to be honest with you. So what we're looking forward to with this setup is this stuff stays out here set up so that we can come in, press, get a few things ready, but really press record and do the podcast. So we're excited about that. That's going to breed some consistency, we think.
Yeah.
And so maybe a little update on our
life
a little
in
bit.
general. Yeah.
Because the people want to know.
Yeah. Well, so for those of you who have actually listened, I think you may remember that like during Lent, almost 5 years ago now, our youngest was born at 27 weeks, and he was like so tiny to us, Now I work as a NICU nurse, and so I'm like, oh, he's pretty good size, almost 2 pounds. Like, that's pretty nice, actually. But, I think we can all agree that's a small baby.
Yeah.
And so, of course, that, like, changed things for us with this podcast and just in life in general. We made some job changes then that have continued. I took a different job in the NICU. Casey works for the parish now. He had worked at the school and now works at the parish. And, so now we have 4 kids. Our oldest is so old. He's 11. And,
geriatric guy, really.
Yeah. Well, it's so funny because it's like, it kind of makes me sad sometimes because I think like we're over halfway now to adulthood with him and our second, who's 10. And I don't know, like I don't want to miss out on anything for sure because they're really awesome kids. And so anyway, so all 4 of them, so 11, 10, 7, our 7-year-old's going to receive First Communion this year.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's so exciting. And it's been so exciting with all of them. I love First Communion year. Like, you just see how they get it. But, and then our youngest is about to be 5. And thanks be to God that, like, his NICU journey was so smooth. He hasn't had delays, and we are just so grateful for that. Like, I know that is the result of so many prayers, so many people offering up their suffering for us, and really being there, showing up in prayer. I can't say thank you enough to everybody for that. We homeschool all 4 of them too, just because we didn't have enough to do, really. No, we have always homeschooled them. None of them have been in school ever. So even with our oldest, we started when he was in preschool, and now our youngest is in preschool. And what a joy to be able to educate our kids like that. We know that is such a blessing that we are both able to work and we are able to educate our kids.
Definitely in the minority when that, someone has to stay at home usually, and we have flexible enough schedules where we can pull that off.
Yeah. Yeah. Such a blessing. Such a grace to watch it happen. To watch them grow in faith and knowledge, especially as they get older, it's really fun to see them like make connections and things. Like our oldest being 11, like I think it was last year, he did a history study all about the Protestant Reformation, and talk about funny, because it's like some of the things he'd be like, wait, what do they believe?
Sense.
What
took us a minute to learn that, son?
Yeah. And he, he's a good kid. He would never be like hateful to anybody, but it just, I don't think we had those opportunities to learn some of the things that they've been able to. They take German, they take Latin, they take Spanish, they take catechism, they have classes on the Chronicles of Narnia. And
Right.
like just so many
Really
opportunities that we are really grateful for.
Shout out to Homeschool Connections.
Yeah, for sure.
We don't get sponsored by them, but we would be open to it. Just saying.
No, I mean, I really love it. It is a Catholic curriculum. Seriously, if you are looking for something, let us know, because I would totally be willing to talk to somebody about it. But it's been really awesome for us. Yeah. Highly recommend homeschooling if you can make it happen.
And you probably can. I mean, barring restrictions with work, and that's obviously, but I do hear a lot of people, how do you do that? I just don't have the I don't know, the brain for that, or the patience for that. Or
somebody at work the other day was like, oh, I don't have the personality to homeschool. No. And I was like, I don't either.
The cool thing about, there is a cool thing about COVID and everything going online, of course, Homeschool Connections was doing this prior, but there's just so many more options than what there used to be. And like, even in our situation, we could not be extremely hands-on, like teaching every little thing and being there, walking the kids. But these kids, they have teachers and they meet on Zoom once a week with their teachers, and they're learning things, and then they have things to do on the off times, and then they know. So there's a consistency. There's an expert in the field actually delivering the material, but they get to be at home too. Yeah. And we're there for additional support and helping them to learn things as well. This is not meant to be a homeschooling podcast, but I think it's just such a cool thing that a lot of people just kind of write off, like, I couldn't do it. It's like, I mean, I've trained as an educator, but I didn't think I was going to be able to do it. I'm like, I want to mess these kids up.
Right.
I was not good at math. Okay. So the thought of having to teach them even fourth grade math made me a little bit nervous, but there's ways of doing it. So
for sure.
Cool stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, so that's where we've been.
And what we're doing now. Yeah. And now, so like starting back podcasting, I think we have low expectations for ourselves, and I'd like for you all to also have low expectations.
Bring them down, Susan. Bring them down, if you're listening, Susan. We're not doing a weekly podcast right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think our goal is like one, maybe a second podcast a month. Like I said, this was never like something we wanted to stop. Right. It was just life has gotten busy, and
we never hated it doing this. We're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Maybe when we were tired and we're like, we really need to get one out, but
yeah, we've never hated it. In fact, like as a couple, I feel like it's one of those things that we've really enjoyed doing together. Mm-hmm. That feels
laugh a lot doing it together.
Yeah, that feels like just
might include some bloopers at the end of this with some of the first tries on this one today. So it was fun.
Yeah, I think it's just like. Yeah, as a couple, it's something we've enjoyed doing. So maybe if you are looking for something to do with your spouse, podcasting's pretty fun.
There you go. If you need to know about some expert, studio building skills.
Don't ask us.
Oh, well, yeah, there we go.
That's it.
Ask somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah, but
so slow and steady wins the race, as the parable goes, or the story goes. Anyway.
Fable.
I was like, that's Jesus with the parables. I don't think he told that one about the money. Aesop's. There you go. Yeah. So, again, we homeschool, so there you go.
But we don't want
I'm the teacher. Anyway.
Don't want to bite off more than we can
Right.
chew,
We want to take it slow and steady. 1 to 2 episodes maybe a month. If we get traction, especially if there's high demand, like us on Facebook, maybe we'll... Like and subscribe. Smash that subscribe button. No, I'm just kidding. So, but, like we were doing before, we're hoping to do kind of a mix of, it'll probably be the mainstays will be us talking about things, but I would love to kind of do what our most successful episode was an interview, former old regular Baptist, and we've done some others, and those have been successful. And they've been I thought were really engaging. People really found them helpful for their own journeys and things. So I'd love to do a few of those as well. Yeah. But to continue just to share the beauty of Catholicism is
with
the
Baptist
goal.
Fervor.
With the Baptist fervor.
Yeah.
If you don't understand that, Baptists have a lot of fervor, right, about their faith, and we're bringing that in to the Catholic tent. So, yeah. But in all seriousness, if you do want to follow along with us, the best thing that you can do to help support us and just let us know, give us some encouragement, like, hey, yeah, I like it on, Facebook, wherever you're hearing this stuff, especially on YouTube. That's kind of where I'm leaning in as far as having things consistent. Of course, we're across all different podcasting platforms and whatnot. But if you subscribe to our channel, like, share with somebody, especially, I've been kind of floored about the people. I thought no one listened, especially at the beginning. No one listened to this podcast, or maybe just the people in my inner circle who felt sorry for me were like, "Oh, great job on your podcast this week, Casey. It was so good." You know,
Man, I didn't know Kermit the Frog was our bud.
Kermit the Frog. Okay. So,
Kermit voice.
but anyway, it was a mix between, I don't know who that was actually. But, we've made such cool connections through this podcast and, getting to know that, yeah, actually people do, and seeing some of the ratings and stuff, which we'll talk about at the end of the podcast, which is coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Stick around.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Do you want to get into those now?
Yeah, well, sure. Let's go ahead and get into the kind of the message. First of all, I just want to say thank you. I know there have been some people who've encouraged us to get back at this and to try, and who consistently listen, which I've always been floored about, because I think of all the great content out there, Catholic or otherwise, that you spend however many minutes to listen, to interact with us online, that means a lot. Because I know time is very precious, and we all have things that we do with our lives. And so the fact that you would spend the time to listen and to comment or to share the episodes, that really does mean a lot to us. And so we appreciate that. And I did want to share a few statistics. So remember, our last episode left out into the ether October of 2023. Yeah. And so Spotify, just like all these platforms do now, they'll do a wrapped. Here's your year and what's happened, specifically with our podcast, right? So I was looking at this, and I had to send screenshots to Aaron as I'm looking at this. I'm like, what is going on? So this blew our mind. So our podcast, the BaptiCatholic, what was the first thing it got, Aaron?
2025 marathon show. Fans listen to you for longer than 67% of other shows.
A show that we hadn't touched since October 2023.
Which is amazing, and
And this is just Spotify.
Right.
This is not counting YouTube and the different places.
It is also telling, right? Because I think people are searching. Mm-hmm. They're looking for meaning. And I'm not saying that that's what our podcast does, but it is what we're trying to do.
We're trying, or at least trying not to be a stumbling block, right?
Yeah. And so I think that's really telling. Actually, all these statistics
There you go.
are the same. Yeah, I think they're all kind of telling that people are looking for something.
I told someone not so long ago, and I mentioned it to somebody else today, because they're like, what's up with this uptick in people looking into the church? And I said, it could be, don't know, at least it was true for us, I think. You don't really question the ground that you're standing on until it starts to shake. And then you look down and you're like, oh, where am I? And so all the assumptions that you just kind of held about things, you start to pry them open and go, oh, hold on just a second. For us, it was, wait, the church looked very Catholic early on. For some people, it's, I put a lot of stock into just the culture or the government or whatever. And that starts to fall apart and you're like, wait a second, there's got to be something truer than this, sturdier than this, that has tradition that goes back deeper than this. I think, personally, that's part of the reason. So, number 2, 2025 binge show. Or binged show. Binged, I think that's supposed to be show. So 20% of your listeners streamed 2 or more of your episodes in a single day. That's really crazy to me. Yeah. And then the last one, 2025 Rising Star. Since we were really working on it hard in 2025 to make it a rising star. So Rising Star, our show's growth outpaced 80% of other shows on Spotify.
So wild. Yeah, that's really wild.
It is. It's truly.
It's exciting though, because
what would happen if we actually made podcasts?
Right. Right. Well, the thing is, we talked about, we always wanted to do this, and so it really, those numbers really were part of the impetus for us to be like, okay, it is time. It's time to go back.
Yeah. It's
time to do this and be intentional and make time for it.
And be humble. Neither one of us, I know you're probably surprised by this, neither one of us are like, oh, we think this podcast rocks. Like, it has the best lighting. It has the best, we're the best orators out there. We absolutely are not. But it's something that I come, or not. See, I said it on orators. Wow, that's great. So to prove my own point,
Yeah.
But, and I want everybody who's listening to this to take this to heart, because I don't as much as I should. When we count ourselves, it is those of us who are Catholics, who are baptized, by virtue of our baptism, it is our duty, responsibility to evangelize, to share the good news, to share the love of Jesus. He has poured out his lifeblood for us. And we can't just sit back and go, Bishop Barron's really good at this. I think I'm going to hang back.
Right.
Like, we don't have that option. Now, it may not mean for you starting a podcast like we have done. It means being maybe more proactive in your own inner circle, like with people, like talking about the faith or sharing resources, whatever it is.
Or even looking at what the faith teaches.
Yes.
Equipping
yourself.
Equipping yourself so that when somebody asks a question, maybe you're not the one to get out there and say, hey, why don't you come to church with me? Nobody expects that of you.
Right.
But when somebody says, well, what do Catholics think about that? Having an answer.
And it doesn't have to be
And it doesn't
scholarly.
have to be perfect, right? But having some answers and knowing your faith, that is impactful.
Really impactful.
Incredible.
Really
Yeah.
impactful. And sharing your own story. How has the Lord Jesus moved in your life?
Right.
I mean, no one can really argue with that. Oh, no, he didn't. Yeah, he did. There's no argumentation that can go along with that. Right. So, and it's been you all. So thank you all for your encouragement and love. Just briefly, and I won't get into who these people are or anything, but I as I was preparing for this, I thought about two different stories. Yeah. One, I was down at the as part of our job, my job, which Aaron does a lot of helping me with.
Our job.
Of course, it's our job. Like, everything is shared, except for I'm not a very good nurse. Go figure. But we were down in Nashville for the Alpha Conference, and I was sitting in one of those breakout sessions, as you do, and a woman approached me later, and she goes, do you have a podcast? And I go, probably one I hadn't touched in a year or so. And I was like, she's gotten confused for somebody. Like, I don't know. So yeah, I do. So, the BaptiCatholic. I was like, oh my goodness, this is happening.
She actually knows who I am.
She knows who I am. She's like, well, my husband, and I remember, I think I had communicated with her maybe via Instagram or something like that. She had reached out that her boyfriend or maybe husband was thinking about Catholicism, but he was pretty anti-Catholic at the time, but he enjoyed our show because it was real life. It wasn't polished. And so I consider that a huge compliment, just because we are just normal people, just trying to live our faith and to love God and to share it with others. And so that was something that was like, okay, we probably should get back at that. But that was
that was in 24.
Yeah, that was a couple years ago, or almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then, someone who's become a dear friend, again, won't mention, I would love to have this person, hint, hint, wink, wink, on the podcast at some point. We've talked about in the past. Mm-hmm. But, Aaron made a comment, I think, on one of these podcasts about something being mortal sin, or,
I know,
not being...
and I
she was
cannot live with myself for it.
No,
it
bore good fruit.
It did bear good fruit, but I made a comment that was like, I hate to think that it hurt someone's feelings.
Right, sure. No.
Because it wasn't my intention, and it wasn't what I was trying to get at, and I felt
it was
really
about
for
being in a,
state of
married
mortal sin.
And...
No, just being in the state of mortal sin at all.
Right.
And receiving a blessing.
Oh, okay. Mass. That's right. I do remember that. So, anyway, this person got into contact with us. She wasn't sure whether she wanted to broach with her husband, who was not Catholic at the time, whether they should basically live as brother and sister, not because they had...
Right. They needed an annulment.
They needed an annulment. And annulments, folks, I don't know if you know this. First of all, they're not Catholic divorce. We can talk about that in another episode. But they can take a long time. Yeah. And if you're used to living the married life and you're called on to not, and you have a family, that is extreme. That's a burden. It very much is a cross. And we just exchanged, we were talking back and forth via social media, and she said, you know what, I'm going to try, and correct me if I got this wrong, by the way, but she had that conversation with him, and he was up to the challenge, which is amazing. Like, good on him to say, yes, this is worth, abstaining and things. And so fast forward, now they've got their annulment. Everything's beautiful.
And he was received into the church.
Received into the church. It's an awesome story.
It's an awesome story. Only the Lord can work that story.
Absolutely.
Only the Lord can do that. Take me saying something so silly and like that I regretted so much because I hated to think that this person had their feelings hurt. But only the Lord can take that and say, or do what he wants in somebody's life, right? Like, God is so big and good that he covers a multitude of sins, right? Like, he covers
and he uses
over.
the most interesting things to bring about beautiful works of art.
Oh, for sure.
This is like our messes or our silliness or whatever. And he can weave that in and prompt people, and beautiful things can come out of it. So we are excited to be back at it. We hope you are too. If you enjoy what we do, please subscribe, please like, all that good stuff, and hashtag it.
Yeah.
BaptiCatholic is back.
Yeah.
Oh wait, we'll probably get copyrighted if we start.
Yeah, I won't sing that song.
BaptiCatholic's back. All right.
Okay.
And with that, we'll see you. What do we do? I don't even remember. We'll see you back next week for another episode of
The
BaptiCatholic
BaptiCatholic
Show.
Show.